My Capstone is ScoreShelf. This is a scoring application for board games. So the reason why I want to do this is because I own a lot of games. It's about half my collection, and a lot of them have a lot of different scoring methods, a lot of different moving parts, a lot of things that contribute to your points in some way. And at the end of a game, especially these bigger ones, scoring it's tedious, it's time consuming, it's error prone, and no one really wants to sit around and wait to do it. So, sometimes for some games, I will use an existing score app. However, most part, these only exist for specific games. And so I wanted something that I could reuse with all my different games and would support all the different scoring types that those games may contain. So that led me to build ScoreShelf. This is a dynamic score sheet builder. It features scoring rule types. It handles the calculations automatically. You can reuse your games. It tracks your players and game stats when you score. And it features a community game sharing system as well. So you can share your score sheets with other users on the app. So we'll launch it. This is going to be the landing page. This is where you can sign up here, or you can log in. But while you're signed out, you can also view the community games. This will show you all of the public games in the library. So everything that is considered public will show here. You can't do anything with them, but you can see what the app offers. So we'll just log in. And now if I go to community games, I only have Uno. That's because this account actually has the other 3 games already on their library. So if we wanted to ever score Uno, we'll just add it to our library. We get a little toast up in the right saying game added to the library. And now if we jump to my games, we see Uno's down here now. This is a complete copy. So I can come in here and I can change every little feature of it. I can even bump it up to 2 players so that it fits properly. We'll just delete this game, and you'll notice it still does stay on the community games there. Now, to look at score sheets for it, we'll go to Catan. This is one of the games that I've built out. So we'll click Manage Score Sheets. You can have as many score sheets as you want. Some games offer variations on the scoring rules based on players or expansions. So I wanted to allow that feature here as well. So we'll look at the default one. Each score sheet is going to be built of rows. These rows are going to have a name, a type, an expression that is saved privately, and then the order that they appear in the score sheet. So a couple different row types we have. We have input. That's just going to be pure points. Whatever value you put in there is added as points to your total. And the next one we have is calculated. You're able to select rows to include, and these will be added up as some subtotal. And then in ratio, you'll choose a source row, and you'll choose for however many in that source row that you get that many points. And I have ranked that assigns points based on the value in the chosen row and gives them out in a ranked order, so the most gets the most points. Achievement is just going to be a checkbox that awards the amount of points selected here. Penalty is going to remove points from your score, and total is going to add all of the rows and get you that final score. So we'll jump back here to games and we'll go into Catan and we'll play it real quick. So at the end of Catan, it's time to score. You would type in all of the players and start scoring. This will pull you to the score session screen here. So where you can start typing in your values. So for settlements, it's just pure points. For cities, it's a little different. Each city in Catan is worth 2 points. So we'll put in the amount of cities we have, and we'll see cities score now goes up to 2. Victory point cards are just pure points if you have them. So we can give those. And then longest road in Catan is going to be an achievement. So whoever has the most in the longest road gets a little checkbox. They get 2 points. And the largest army award in Catan is a little different. It goes off of whoever has the largest army. This one's going to be a achievement row type. So we'll put in the amount of knights we have, and whoever has the most will get that 2 points. So if Dave had more knights than me, we'll see that he gets 2 there. Once we're done, we can finish scoring. and that'll take us to this results page where it announces the winner and lists everybody and their points. From this, you can either play again by going back, clicking this button, which will take you back one, and allow for you to see that score sheet empty again and start putting in points. Or you can go to your stats. In stats here, we are able to see all of the games we've played, all of the players that have played those games, how many times they've played those games, and then how many wins they've had while playing those games. And so that's about it for the scoring and the game side of ScoreShelf. I do have some basic account settings here where you can update your username, email, and passwords, but that's about it for features. So we'll jump back into the slides and we'll kind of take a look at that tech stack here. So for the core curriculum, I use just about everything. I use Java, Spring Boot, REST, React, plus the React router. MySQL handles all of my databases. And then for Stretch Technologies, we use JWT authentication to handle the authentication between the pages and for all of the requests. Bcrypt through Spring Security handles the password hashing so that the databases are not storing plain text passwords. And then I use a JSON-based scoring rules. That way I can cut down on some of that database workload by not having all of those types be tables. I can just have it be a JSON string. So now we'll kind of look at how that scoring system works. As a big overview, there's two phases. There's a building phase on the left there. So the user will create a row. The front end will turn the row settings into an expression and save it as a JSON on the back end. And then when the scoring phase comes around, the front end will load the row data. The user will enter the player's score into the row. Score session will interpret the expression from the row type and handle it appropriately. And then totals and winners are calculated and the results are saved to the back end and then passed to the front end results page. So look a little bit more in depth on what that scoring kind of looks like. This is going to be the build side of the row type of ratio. So when a user selects ratio as the type, it's going to find that and it's going to display this ratio rule builder. That allows for it to dynamically render those inputs. And so the first one is going to be that select. That's that drop down menu there. It's going to pull from the JSON the source row ID and it will update it to whatever the row selected is. We show the rows by filtering them down to the type of input and then mapping those options so that you can select one. And then the other two input fields there are going to be just numbers. One is for the amount from that row, and one is going to be for the points that that amount is worth. And then this is all saved as a JSON and sent back. And so when we get to the scoring session, we're going to check the row type again. So this is going to be, if it is ratio, it'll parse that JSON into the config value there. And then we are able to pull the score by using the source row ID and the amount and the points from that JSON that's been parsed. And then we return the ratio value. And that's kind of the general workflow for all of my scoring rules there. So that's going to kind of do it, and we'll kind of start wrapping up with my future goals. That would be the ability to rate and favorite games and sheets. I would like to add two-factor authentication using like a one-time email password. I think the ability to include other players for games so that both of you can track your stats if you're playing together. And I think more scoring options and customizations, icons instead of just text would be a nice option to have, as well as being able to specify, per se, the color of the rows. And so that's going to do it.